Aww.
We're back.
Were you missing me? Were you missing me? Tell
Not
the truth.
really.
Oh.
No.
Samesies.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, welcome back.
Thank you.
Second of all, let's have a discussion around the style, the hairstyle.
I know. What do you think?
I love it.
Do you love it?
I do.
I
So,
would like. It feels very high risk.
yeah, I was just going to say, has this been something you've been thinking about for a while or no?
No. And I was like, I wanted. I've been wearing the gray hair. So
Yeah.
I wanted to do the gray hair, and they're like, "What about platinum?"
I like the platinum.
And I'm like,
I didn't hate the gray though, and the gray was like a silver gray. It was really,
yeah.
Yes, this looks great.
Thank you.
You look like, honestly, you look like you're going to rival one of your offspring for some future gigs.
My offspring has been kicking ass. Have you seen
Yes.
the pic? Just so y'all know, my oldest Clay
Clay and I follow each other. We follow each other.
International beauty and commercial model.
Yes.
Stunning. And I know it's my kid, but
it's not exaggerated. I know it's hard because when you're championing your own kid, everybody's like, okay, it's your kid, but legit.
But no, really. They've been knocking it out of the park.
Hold one up.
Okay, I'm gonna hold one up.
Look.
Stop.
Look.
Right?
Yeah, that's not exaggerated.
No. I think my favorite. This is this is a selfie in their living room. Stop.
First of all, the first thing that always comes to mind whenever I see Clay post like that, I love her. I mean, they have been around. Look, forever that I've known this child. The hair, though, absolutely hate it.
I don't know what happened because
look at that. I would crush that hairstyle. I cannot grow it like that at all. They just have it, and I can't
have it. And I always feel like, look what we did. I always want to put that on there. I think it's so funny to be like. With Todd,
I don't think it's healthy for Todd to dwell on.
Look what we did. Look what we made.
I don't think Todd should dwell on that.
I don't. Maybe not. And in the meantime,
let's be clear, they are doing it on their own. Let's be super clear.
Yes.
It's not mom or dad making calls with the connections that they have to say, please hire my child. There's none of that happening.
No, and they are getting I think my favorite most recently, they did something for a photographer that was teaching about lighting, and the pictures are just there's a picture and Clay looks so great, but then they pan to the audience. There's 100 people staring like this while the guy is and I was like, how long did you hold that?
See, it's they have this jaw structure and the way that it goes into the neck. Legit, I'm not making this up, right? Because I don't talk about this a lot. Hold on, let me. I don't talk about this a lot, but I used to do runway and such when I was in high school because I was 6 foot quickly and I was a 40 long. And for runway, that was, and this is way back in the day when you did a lot more mall, modeling shows, right? Right. So I just.
Benetton.
Oh my gosh. I had this Benetton sweater that I kept that I wore. It was like puke green. I loved this sweater. I did not give it back. And I just was obsessed with it. And so I wore it for years until I forget I was at a party or something and had it on. And someone was like, honestly, that's the ugliest sweater I've ever seen. You have to get rid of that. And it was a young lady that I was chatting with. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I'll get rid of this right now, and it didn't work out with her, but I got rid of the sweater. So
it didn't work out with her and I lost the sweater. Oh no, you got a sweater.
I got a sweater, right? And I lost the girl and lost the sweater in the same month. And I know. Stinking girl.
I'm glad your life just improved. It just went up from there.
Who are you drinking from today? What do you got
I'm
in front of you?
drinking from the Mermaid today.
Oh, hello, mermaid. I am. Let me just give a little shout out. Atlas, thank you so much for sending some swag.
You get all the cups. I don't
I
get cups. I've got a paper cardboard cup.
Atlas, if you're not familiar, lots of love. We had a kind of a little love fest on Unleash, and so as an employer of record for those of you that are familiar with employer of record, we can do that one week as well. Honestly, because that's a really interesting thing. I'm going to just say this as a preview for a future session. PEO, watch out for EOR. There's all the letters. PEO, watch out for EOR. I'm just going to tell you.
Because there has been some things that are going on. I do want to tell everybody really quick, and I know why I don't get the cups and why this has been so crazy is because it's been a hiatus. At the very beginning of the year, yeah. I'm pulling back. I'm not going to be doing as many conferences. I need to make sure and tune back into myself. Last year was a really hard year. And so then went on sabbatical, just went on vacation. It was so weird talking to people outside of our industry and they're like, oh, so what do you do? And you're like,
I have this really successful LinkedIn live show.
I just talk to my friends online. And so listen, I know I don't get the cups because I don't show up anywhere. I've earned it. I've earned my spot of not having paper cups. But
although I do, there's a box coming soon for you. I had to part of it for me.
And they said, "Who's Jackye?"
No. First of all, let's stop lying. The past 4 weeks that I've
been the last 4 weeks. I saw you had some great people on.
Robin, I will say this. I know that obviously there's a bias, but Robin crushed it last week. I mean, just crushed it. Steve Brown, he was adequate. But like Robin.
That is your best. You take it easy.
Let's see how quickly before the text messages start coming. And George was awesome. I mean, really, yeah, there were some fun people. But I will tell you something. People were like messaging me. So when's Jackye coming back? As if it's like, it's kind of torture, John, with you. It's kind of torture. I heard that.
Well, while you were gone, I did get some new glasses in case anybody was.
I have 2 new pair coming myself. I'll have to show you when they come.
Those people. Somebody yelled at me and said, it was like, they said, how many pairs do you have? I was like, I have 17 pairs. Look, I thought you had more than that. I was like, I think that's enough.
First of all, I try to tell people, because Kathy my executive producer feels some sort of way. I'm like, I don't have hair. I don't accessorize. The glasses are the only thing I have at this point. It's all it is. Give me a break.
That's right.
Oh, and here's Kai. I can't share, only you can.
Oh,
I'd have no idea.
Let me put this on. Oh.
Yeah, but now,
I'll add it. There you go.
Yeah. Kai, thanks for shouting out and making sure Steve knows that I just trashed him. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes, just
adequate.
Can someone put that on his shirt? Literally, y'all, I just got a shirt and it said, I spent my life at Wish a Bitch Woods. I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I bought the shirt.
Oh my gosh, you had to buy the shirt.
Yeah, I'll wear it next week. Wish a Bitch Woods.
Wait, did you get matching ones for Robin and for Katie? Because honestly, if the 3 of you wore that as like the modern pink ladies coming into a conference, I'd wet my pants. Listen, oh my gosh, that is awesome. Let's do that.
I am bringing it.
Holy cow, hilarious.
The big stay. Is this not hilarious? How many times have we been talking about, like, whatever, the Great Resignation? It's like people are going to stay in their jobs. Like, I don't know if anybody knows this. Maybe it's only people of a certain age, and we're the last generation to remember this. People used to work at their jobs for 5, 10, 20 years, leave with a pension.
Even 5 years. Let's even just say.
The company was so grateful that they would pay starting at age 62 for the rest of your life.
Part of the problem is, I mean, and by the way, for those that don't know, you could just Google the Big Stay on LinkedIn. There's a couple of articles that are there already written about this, and it's like the anti-Great Resignation, right? Basically, is
Yeah.
what it is now.
People aren't leaving. They're not having the, the turnover that we're looking for. There's not spaces available. There's no entry level spaces available. Nobody's moving. There's no middle management opportunities. Nobody's moving up. It's a whole thing.
And now there's plenty of stories, by the way, connected, that those that have chosen to leave whatever organization they're a part of to take another job with a new company, more money, maybe a better title. The amount of people on this, go on Facebook groups if you want to see this, the amount of those individuals over the last 4 to 6 months who've done that and then found themselves riffed in these 4 to 6 months. So those stories are being told, and that's making people who have been at a particular organization say, I'm not going anywhere.
Listen, and if you are one of those organizations that does your salaries based on what's on the books and the averages and whatever, the salaries have tanked. Yeah. So if you leave, you got to leave for less.
And Mercer, look, y'all, don't get mad at Mercer. Let's not get mad at ERI.
Exactly.
Let's not get mad at pay scale. Like all these places,
they're not saying, they're not devaluing you.
Yes. They're doing market research. This is what the market is. Honestly, I read a whole tear up of Mercer about the latest salary numbers that are be coming out, and they better not reduce the ranges. And I'm like, they better not.
They have that much control.
But it's called validity and reliability in research data. Don't you want that?
Hold on, let me write that down. What is it again? Dude, it is so funny. Pay attention. It's not that hard. All the numbers are out there. The salaries, more people are posting what the salaries are, so you know where to go. And the salaries are all over the place. Am I right?
All over the place. All over the place. And by the way, I'll add as well, because you're right, almost everywhere is posting the salary. And as an aside, y'all who are saying, I'm still in a state that doesn't require it, but you're posting this thing on Indeed, and you are saying able to be done hybrid or remote, honey bear, you got to put the salary range. What are you saying? Because you don't know that someone from another place isn't going to apply to work remotely. And in that place, you know what I mean? It's compliant. I mean, telling you, people just dig their heels in. No, John, I don't have to. First of all, I ain't coming after you. So don't say no, John, like I'm calling the salary police or something. But
I'm calling 911.
I mean, Keith Sonderling and I are like BFFs. Keith, if you're listening, you know I love you, buddy. But I'm not calling him to be like, ooh, you got to take a look. Target's not posting the range for the
Get over yourself. Listen, get over yourself. I think that people need to know this. The salaries are out there. It doesn't matter if you have to or not. Just do it, because people are not going to post unless you're doing full active.
Let's ask Jackye Clayton.
Yeah.
Recruiter extraordinaire. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let's pretend that you are doing a phone screen.
Yeah.
Based on a resume that's been submitted for a role.
Yeah.
Really hard to imagine. Let's try to imagine that. First, if not second question that candidate will ask you about that role is what?
It's a pay range.
Yeah.
They want to know the pay range. And I tell them the target. I'm like, look, this is the range for the entire lifetime of the role, because that's the other part on how you post. I'm still not sure. I'm posting what's required.
Yeah.
Compliancy. I'm still not sure how it works, because you feel funny when you know that is what the lifetime of the range. This is what we have budgeted for the role.
Yes.
It could be different.
You're making a great point. There are companies that are like, it's fine. We can post a range. We're going to post 45,000 to 80,000 because to exactly your point, in the life cycle, if they stay, the life cycle of this role will eventually get them there because they'll level up and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you what we're seeing in litigation right now is that's too wide of a range.
That's right.
They don't want to see that if you're going beyond $10,000 in your range, someone could complain and it could stick. I'm just telling you,
Well, they
that's
don't know
kind
the
of what
blind
we're
spots
seeing.
in the role. This is what's
Right.
frustrating. The people who are trying to make this compliant and try to make all the regulation don't understand. They're asking us to post the salary range. We have people who work here, right? And they need to know what the possibility is.
Yes.
They need so it's different on the hiring salary versus the lifetime. They want you to post the lifetime of the role. The person reading it says, "I want 80,000," and you're like, "No, you don't," because in a year you're going to yell at me because then you'll never get past 80,000. These are
That's
the
right.
competencies you're going to have to build
That's
on.
right.
These are the parts, and if that's what you're looking for, maybe it's time for you to go to a different role. Like maybe you're undervaluing yourself. Like, and going to all of these other places. And the other thing is, it's important to put it on so you don't insult people and you have those awkward
Yes.
conversations.
Yes.
Like you don't want to leave it out, but
well, and again, it's personal, right? You know that some people feel devalued because the match for the 401k isn't 4%. They're
right,
like, well, right? What do you mean? You all do
right.
2%. What? And
You know,
I'm like, I'm
matching
so sorry you feel disgusted by that, but I just want to let you know, like,
disgusting.
it's not a requirement. Like, what? Just hang on a second.
There's a balance. People don't understand that. I say people. I would say outside of HR, outside of the people function. They
Right.
don't understand that there has to be we have to be better about explaining this is what we do.
Yep.
This is what the law requires, because most companies do 1,000 times more than they have to do in certain areas. And the bare minimum from compliance. If you want to know what your company cares about.
Well, and it's also difficult because if you look at it from the business standpoint, we've made such a big deal for some types of organizations to offer hybrid, fully remote opportunities. And so you've asked, we still are trending at 99% for companies that fall into the bucket of small business in the United States. I mean, it's the vast majority.
That's right.
So you have, I just am talking, I should say, talked to one on Tuesday that's got about 25 employees, and they're in 5 states for 25 employees. And so you remember what it was like to work, for those of you who worked at startup and that kind, like one person's doing 4 jobs.
That's right.
Because that's just what has to happen with this.
That's
now
right.
You're asking this company to be well versed in 5 different state regulations. Let's not even talk about the cities that some of these people are in, because the cities have a different requirement than even the state that they're in. Like, that's a lot for businesses to manage. I'm not
They don't
making
understand that at
excuses,
all.
but
I mean, at Textio,
Yeah.
we hire now in 10 states. I get asked all the time.
And you have 100,000 employees, right? Like, but that's what people will think.
Right.
Honestly,
so
that's
a
what
lot of people. Okay, so we're an enterprise solution, even though we do have a lot of SMB, but the majority where people hear about us are large organizations.
Yep.
So they think we too are a large organization. We have about 70 people, including consultants at Textio. We hire in 10 states. And we've had people in the past, like, who said, well, can you just add one more state? What's the big deal with one more state? And right now,
what's the
really all anybody has the ability to do is California. All anybody has the ability, because California will keep you stressed out.
Kill you.
Completely kill you.
Listen, y'all, here we go.
By the day.
California, let alone the cities within California. If you listen, y'all, and I know Joe is on, I think if you all know about San Francisco, come on now. It's its own world. It's its own world. Now you got Washington and Oregon right there on the West Coast, trying to keep up with California to be competitive. Come to the other side of the country. It's always the parentheses of the United States. Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York. Come on. They want to, like.
And somebody the other day, listen, this happened a couple years ago. We went through the whole thing. We were like, we only hire in 9 states. You live in New York, right? You live in New York. You live in New York. We went through the whole thing. And then they said, actually, I live in the New Jersey, but it's kind of like New York. I said, what side of the bridge do you live on?
Yeah, it's not kind of
It's
like New
not
York.
kind of. If you got to go over the bridge, you
That's
are
where
in New
you're like,
Jersey. If you
do
on
me a favor.
this side of the
Turn
bridge,
turn
you
your
are in New
camera
York.
on, lay your head on the keyboard of the laptop, and let me see you slam the top of the monitor a couple of times on your head, because something's happening.
Right?
We got to get you
I
going
was
again.
like, and it was
Look at
all the
what
way up
Mandy
until the
said.
end.
Mandy, thank you. Oh, look at Amanda. Thank you as well. Amanda has 46 states that have
No,
to be paid attention to. Mandy, 113 employees in 13
no,
states, including California. And Mandy,
that's
totally
right.
right. City, state, county rules. Everybody and their mother now wants to have a rule about labor somewhere in some sort of way, right? First of all, David, love living and working in Kentucky. Let me tell you something. I had an employee in Kentucky. Every other week, this county Owensboro kept sending me some paper that I had to fill out. Worse than New York City, that the forms that I was getting from
No.
Owensboro, Kentucky. I'm not lying. And Owensboro, if you are listening, yes, I'm talking about you.
How you feel about that? Look,
poor, poor baby Frankie. Because he's here.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Those forms came in. I'm like, Frank, you got to fill out this form. Frank wanted to have words with Owensboro, because it was repeating the same stuff, just in a different form, but the same exact thing for the same exact county. And you're like, what?
Listen, y'all don't know. And the thing is, people like to say that they don't know what you're talking about or what you're going to, or knowing the regulations and knowing the tax laws and what you can do. And it's a mess. And it's a mess for everyone. And I'm not saying people aren't important, but it's like, it's one-offs. Like I just told you, we've got the majority of the people are in Washington. Ooh, look what you did. Hey,
John, I love that.
And
Out
hi,
here
Steve.
catching strays.
Steve, I hope you didn't get here late because your BFF, John, was saying beautiful things about you.
I was so happy, Steve, that you stepped in to cover for Jackye 1 week.
Yes, I appreciate it.
It was a lovely experience, and Jackye was expressing her gratitude for your coverage.
I was. Thank you so much for
I get to spend 4 days with him starting this weekend because we're both speaking twice at the National Shrimp Conference. So
really,
yeah. It's going to be great. We're excited.
I am just so grateful for you.
I get that a lot. But honestly, connecting that though as well to the big stay, it is part of the reason why we have organizations that are trying to keep people in their organization, because honestly, the lift for the work that's been done to register for state taxes, for local compliance, all those things that are done, you don't want to see that person leave quickly.
Because we all work remote, right? We have all been working remote. People think it was just super easy. Do you know how many people moved out of town as soon as COVID happened after 6 months, and they were like, oh, I want to go do this and I want to go do that.
People were like, out. Yep.
They're like, that's, where a lot of it did. And they said, oh, well, you can just hire anywhere. Why do we teach the Pythagorean theorem, but we don't teach people about tax laws?
We really need to do that.
Right?
We just had a client
that the mitochondria of a cell, but we don't teach people about labor laws.
Hold on, don't hurt yourself, mitochondria of a cell. What you doing?
You know what I mean? Like, because it comes back on the people in HR. And these are things like we 100%. Made it up. And these are the same people who say, oh, I don't vote.
Yeah.
And you voted for that.
I mean, it is really important for candidates to know as they're applying to roles in for certain organizations. First of all, we are still seeing a pullback to physical location, whether that's hybrid or fully back to an office or a location. I know it varies, but we are seeing more roles being posted as hybrid at the very least, rather than fully remote. And I think that that's important to pay attention to as well. So some people who are staying at their organizations are staying because they're like, they let me do my work fully remote. I
That's
don't
right.
want to change now and go to hybrid. And again,
That's right.
by the way, this is only for a small percentage of organizations. We're still the minority for those that can even offer hybrid, right? We've got plenty of organizations that are 5, 6, 7 days a week. You got to be in person, right? So I don't want to minimize that. But if you have the benefit of working fully remotely, you may not have that benefit if you change jobs right now.
That's right. Or you have it for a month. Sorry, now we're going to require everybody goes into the office. And the fact is, they know that people were more productive and they can do their work at home, but they don't care. So
yes, they don't.
Like,
they
get
don't
over
care
it, because the control is moved, the power is moved back to employers, which happens with, that's why people are like, I'm not leaving. I'm just staying here where I can get paid. I already know it's the devil, I know exactly what to expect. And I don't have to have, because we still haven't fully healed from the before times.
No, I'm sorry. John asked you to spell mitochondria.
I saw that and almost, yes, he did say spell mitochondria. You were so.
And Josh Rock, let me help you, my mini BFF. Let me help you, Josh Rock, by saying this. There's no wager on audience. I will absolutely, on the record, say Steve Brown is going to pack the amphitheater for where his sessions are. They have me in a broom closet. Ain't going to be close in any way, shape, or form.
Steve Brown, including me. That's why John's so silly, because he's so jealous of Steve.
So jealous. It's
whole
those shirts.
Entire life.
I need those Steve Brown shirts in my life so that I can help to land small aircraft.
Don't be making fun of my friend. Award-winning author.
Yes, award-winning. Award. We tried to get reservations
for first coffee.
We tried to get reservations for brunch somewhere. A few of us, obviously, that'll be there on Sunday. And I was just like, just give them this screenshot of the 3 books Steve's written and tell them that's who's coming for brunch. See if that helps us get our reservation.
Did it work? Because I'll do it too. Oh,
no, they were like, who? HR Rising. What? That sounds like a rash. Oh gosh, I love him. But I will say, let me give him the shout out. He wrote "Control is a myth," and that is absolutely true, right? We have had, Jackye, to the point you made a few minutes ago, like it had been such a strong candidate market for a while that the candidates got kind of used to being in control or thinking that they were in control, and so now
they were never in control.
They were never in control. It was never that way.
No.
I mean, right? And now, I mean, I'm hiring for a few positions at Humoriso, and I had one person, thankfully only one so far, say, I saw what you had listed in the job description. I'm so interested in being a part of your company. Love what's happening there, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to know if I could rewrite the job description for some things that I would like to do, little different than the role you have listed. And I was like, I appreciate that you like want to be a part of Humoriso so badly, but I need to let you know, I really need the things that are listed in the duties and responsibilities to be a part of the role that we're hiring for. I appreciate that your interest may not be in all of them, maybe half of them, but I really can't say that we are willing to hire for half of the need that we have. So you're welcome to put that job description together and send it to me. And if something like that ever opens in the future, I absolutely will be in touch. But and the person was like, okay, I appreciate that. They weren't mean. They were like, I appreciate that. And I'll be in touch. And I was like, okay.
I know. Listen, I know people are starting to feel desperate. They don't know. I mean, the amount of people that sent me emails like, I'll do this, I'll do that. And I get nervous. I've been there before. I have been there before. I get it. I fully get it. I want to post this up from Mr. Noe. Applicants want remote if they have it now, but are unhappy enough to apply for jobs. Get away from your job if you're unhappy, even if that means going to, please, even if it means going back to office.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of people also who are working remote that hate it. They need more stimulation. They need more interaction. My ADD is so bad. I can't go back into an office.
I'm not. First of all, what you just said is amazingly true, right? Like legitimately say it again for the people in the back. We are absolutely dealing with people who are saying, it's been a few years. I'm realizing that I miss the kind of interaction. It's not that I'm not talking to anybody. It's not that I can't do a video chat on Teams or Zoom with some of my colleagues. It's not that I'm not engaged on the Slack channels. I just miss being in a room with other people and standing by a cubicle and chatting for a few minutes. I just miss that kind of interaction that happens naturally, because right now I have to schedule those interactions. I have to say, are you free? Can you jump on a video call? That kind of thing, as opposed to how we used to do it just to show up. And it is no joke what you just said. We are absolutely dealing with people. And I don't know that everybody knows this, right? So I own Humoriso. I am in Florida. I, on my own, said I did for 10 months, worked out of my house, and I just didn't like it. It's not that I don't like my executive producer, who also works from home. I wanted space that wasn't work and home. I needed a space that's just work, right? And so we have an office in Vero Beach. There are now other employees that are in this office with me as well. And so when I leave work, I really try to leave work. I couldn't do it at home. I really struggled.
This is the thing that's interesting, because I'm a selective extrovert. I think that's the way. Instead of just saying I'm an introvert and having to go through that, I'm a selective extrovert, and I couldn't do both. So my home, I have a detached carriage house. That's my office.
Yeah.
I could not work in my office.
Which is different. That is still different. I love that.
Standalone building. It's that I'm in. It's like, it's way too big, but it's like 800 square feet that I can sit in, and I can lock the door and go. And I needed that feeling of closing the door, and now leaving my computer, locking the door, turning it off, leaving my computer in my office is something that I was striving to do in 2024 to get back to me, because I started getting a little detached, So like, these are the things that we have to look at. I love the company I work for. I guess I'm a part of the big stay. I don't plan on going anywhere, but I can understand if
they may feel differently, though, just so that you know. Text you right now might be.
I've been gone for a month. I haven't really.
Jackye, we're really sorry to share this with you, but
we're sending you a text message wherever you are, because we don't feel like getting on Zoom.
Check your Slack.
Right. Oh, my Slack is gray. You're welcome. Black.
Oh, great.
I had that happen one time where somebody was like, look, like they were letting people off, and you know how you look on Slack and it has them all and it's like green or whatever.
Yeah.
They just kept graying out. Bing, bing. And they were like, oh no. And then I was like, my phone's ringing. And then I grayed out. I was like, they were like, bye.
It's like that. It's like Aliens, right? When they send everybody out to start, and everybody's cameras up and you see what's happening, and all of a sudden it's just static.
Right.
Oh, that one's dead.
It was like, what's that other movie? Like it was like that. Hunger Games.
Like that. Oh yes, like Hunger Games. Cannons firing with.
Yeah. Like, gotta go. But I think, this is a different time. I also think, I don't know if people know what they're hiring for right now. I mean, you have an idea of what your needs are right now, but you don't know where it's going to go.
Yes.
This transition that we had over at Textio, because we have this new product, right? So when we started looking at that, it's like, where are the gaps? You have to look at where the gaps are. And when you have something new or you're doing something innovative, it's hard to know where your gaps are right away. And that might change on who you need to hire for and what you need to hire for.
And I agree. First of all, I'm sorry. There's so much happening in the chat. I need to pay attention for a second. Jenny Stone, first of all, we love. Hi, Jenny. So glad that you're here. Jenny's a great example of someone who is, with what I was sharing, the total opposite. Jenny is saying, like, I don't want to ever come back into an office. Like, where I am now in life is, she wrote, I couldn't be in an office now. Like, that's okay. Like, it's good to know that about yourself, right? It doesn't make anything difficult. It just means there may be different kinds of opportunities that you'll, try to get versus others. You have to know yourself. And I should mention Jenny Stone and John Baldino will both be speaking at HR Florida the end of August. So if you're coming to that conference, please make sure you let the two of us know. We will both be speaking. Can't wait for that. Yes, that's the comment.
So,
And
I mean, you're right.
right?
I've been at home for over 15 years.
Correct.
COVID had nothing to do with it.
Right.
And I mean, a part of the reason my executive producer, was home in the summer, and I have kids that are home in the summer. If they walk in and ask me, like, hello, they pop in here, I jump like crazy. I'm not expecting. I'm used to working in silence, and I need my brain to work.
And first of all, your children, they don't need you. They just at all. Maybe a credit card, but they don't really need you. That's it. David, thanks for being here. I want to mention too, by the way, David Noe is starting his own, inspired by the way, Jackye, for me and you. He is starting his own podcast called Speakeasy HR. And so that'll start on July 8th, and I get to be his first guest. So it'll be super fun. Yeah. So look for David's new podcast. Please sign up for that, Speakeasy HR. It's HR and bourbon talk. So we will have lots of fun. I'm a Maker's Mark ambassador. There's a keg of Maker's Mark with my name on it.
Are you serious?
I got 3 years left before I have that barrel. That's totally for me and me only.
Why did I not know that? What? Do I know you?
Yeah.
I am hurt.
I mean, I'll share it with you though once I get the barrel. Okay. Once it's aged.
I thought I was on your top 10 friend list. Now
it'll get shipped from Kentucky to Florida, and then we'll all come and pop the barrel and have 7-year-old Maker's Mark. Right?
Can we all come? Can we?
Yes. Everybody come. Everybody, come on. I look what Nikki wrote as well. Hi, Nikki, by the way. Gosh, so many people.
Oh, hi, y'all. It's so good to see you.
Nikki's been almost 8 years. Right? Working from home. So Jackye, even to what you were saying, here's another person that COVID had nothing to do with it. Been working from home for 8 years and knows herself enough to know I'm more productive, less distracted than when I was in an office setting.
I think people need to know. And I think I've been that person. I'm the person, and I think people know this about me. I'm the one that when you want to do something naughty, they come to me at any place in the office. They're like, hey, let's go. Do that, and they know I'll be like, oh, okay. I don't know why. It's like since kindergarten. Jackye, let's go. And I'm like, okay. People know that about me in the office. That's why I can't work in an office. I'm always the one that people are like, hey, you want to go get a cup of coffee? And I'll be like, I don't want a cup of coffee, but I'll go with you. Like, I'm that person.
Yes.
I cannot do, and I can't do it because I'll go to lunch and I talk too much. I'll go for an hour and a half and we'll come back. I'll show up.
Listen, I've had people come to lunch with me and we go to some place that they can't eat most of the food that's there because they're like, oh, I'm a vegan, and so this is all. What you come to McDonald's for? Why'd you come with us?
Look at my friend James Barrett. I call him Jim. Said, did someone say bourbon? Yes.
Yes, lots of
early
times
in the
actually.
morning. Maker's Mark. Jim's in Florida too, so he can come up.
Come on. It'll be a big barrel as far as what I know. The work from home piece may be a reason that you choose to stay in your current organization, but that's not going to be true for everybody because that's not an opportunity for everybody. I'm going to say one of the things, even in some of the articles that I've read that I think is important to think about too, is when you're connected to an organization that, and let's face it, we're still in, and I've been saying this term for a while, we're still in these like pseudo recessionary times. We're not really sure what's happening, right? The economy is not robust. It hasn't all fallen apart, but so it's sort of pseudo recessionary. Okay. So if you're an employee who stays, you actually have the opportunity and stand a better chance to help to craft future steps for you in support of the organization that is not looking to externally hire right now. Yeah. So you may wind up getting some opportunities to cross divisions, to collaborate with other departments in a way that help you expand your own skill set. Opportunities that you may not get if you go somewhere else straight up.
I feel like the biggest impact is not seeing your impact by being remote. I talked to somebody, they left the organization because they didn't feel like they were making impact. The next day, I see this post and it's like, oh, they're not with us anymore. I was like, so they did have impact.
Yeah.
They just didn't know they had impact.
Yes.
Like, where's the problem here? And
Yeah.
some people do need to have that visualization and do that and see it. But when you're at home, especially like when you think about a Textio, we don't see the impact that it has on
That's
the
right.
organization. So
That's right.
you don't realize you did this huge thing. You've changed lives, but you wouldn't know because it helped in this. I do want to let people know, like, this is the article I got. You can't see it.
What are you doing?
I'm showing this.
You're all
The magazine from Talent Development Magazine in the article.
Why I don't get Talent Development Magazine? Why not?
Are you a member? Are you a member?
I should be like emeritus or something, aren't I?
Should be you should be emeritus, but
I should be.
It says 58% of managers are taking longer to hire than they were 1 year ago.
Wow.
Robert Half said that the hiring process is one of the top 3 reasons companies miss out on top talent.
I mean, how self-serving is that comment? I mean, come on.
Shut up, Robert Half. Whatever, Bobby.
Shut up.
Shut up,
Bobby. Shut up, Bobby.
Research. I used to work there. We're on a first name basis. Shut up, Bobby. ADP Research Institute found that job openings in 2023 decreased 20% from 12 million in 2022 to 9 million in March 2023.
Listen, and we're continuing to fall. The numbers, again, we're wrapping up mid-year, right, in 10 days. So mid-July, end of July, start looking for these numbers that are going to come out from the end of Q2. And I think people are going to be like, oh, no, and unemployment is still relatively low. I mean, really?
And they're saying, like,
we know why.
Only have half of the available talent market because half of the jobs didn't even exist a year ago.
Correct. I mean, we have people who need to, and look, you and I both know we're going to see, continue to see AI, generative AI, all of this conversation happening. And part of the reason we're trying to handle some of that effectively is because we do have certain tasks that can be done, much more machine learning oriented, especially if we're having a difficult time finding people. I get it. I understand that. All good.
By the way, here's my new bias. If you use AI for your headshot on LinkedIn, we're done.
I ran it asked for 50. I just wanted to see, right? This app asked for 15 or 18 different pictures of me in order to create an AI headshot. So I upload all these things. I just wanted to see what it did. This child that came out the other side, I don't have any idea who that child was. That was not me. It was not me.
Horrible.
It was like creepy me. Like first of all, the worst part, quite frankly, was the smile. It had this smile of like, like Real Housewives smile. And I'm like, they ain't my teeth. Well, I sent you 18 pictures of what I look like. Whose teeth are they?
Yeah, they're not mine. Don't try to help me.
I didn't know who this person was. I had zero idea.
I am. Look, she said, can you claim them on your taxes? That's a great question.
That is a great question.
Can you change that?
I mean, oh my gosh. And you know what Josh just put, because I mean,
literally,
Jackye, I have multiple chats where I have to make sure I share with everyone what I look like
as
I'm floating in the pool.
Embarrassing when people see, and I'm like, this is John. Like, what is that on your phone? Oh,
John's in the pool.
Wants to show us that he has a pool and lives in Florida again.
And John, it's Saturday morning, and I'm like,
yay. Over it. He's like, look at how successful I am. I'm in Florida. I have a pool.
And I have a pool, and I
work out.
And my children are all gone, and I have zero responsibilities, and my executive producer doesn't talk to me, and neither does the dog. So I'm all by myself.
My sister moved in with, my sister moved in with her daughter temporarily. They have the 1-year-old.
Yeah. Where? Close to you? Yes.
North Carolina.
No. That's unacceptable.
That's what I said.
Let's get her on the phone immediately. Oh my God.
I mean,
Oh my gosh. Look at her
I'm
face.
not even
She
that.
cracks me up.
I know.
She's doing
I
peace,
mean,
peace right over his head, right over his head.
we had to move. I was like, oh, well, let me show you the first ones because I was like,
She
I
is,
feel like you have it in the baby's face. Like I was like, can you take the cord out of the baby's face?
I mean, something
Nana,
that
that is
could
not
be
a good look.
protective services oriented right there.
Not a good look.
Not a good look at
And,
all.
you know, the baby's one, and Lauren's been at my house for 6 months. And so he always just looks at us like, I know
But
your
let me
family
ask you this.
somehow, but
Todd misses her, yes.
oh, he said you're just happier when she's here.
Oh, ooh. I don't know how I feel about that, executive producer. What does
You
that
know,
mean?
I think
It sounds to me then
probably
that he's the
don't.
problem.
Yeah.
If I'm happier when my sister's here, you're supposed to be making me happy a little bit, executive producer. So I would think that means you're
Well,
failing.
maybe you should make curried chickpeas then.
The good news is Kathy feels the same way about me. So it's okay.
But we did have a great time. I just, I miss my sister horribly. So that's also something to catch up. Let me see if I could show you. This was
She
us
is
coming
so,
home.
look, I mean, her smile, not that yours doesn't, but her smile, her eyes are so wrapped into her smile. It's her
Oh,
whole face.
it's
Her
her
whole face.
whole face. She's just adorable.
She is adorable.
And
See,
so
now we're talking about the big stay. Why didn't she stay? That's the question.
she didn't stay because she's like, I have to go be, Bella and Nana.
Oh.
And those are the skinny Forster legs. Somebody
I
walked up to us and they said, your legs are baggy in leggings.
say, first of all, what you looking at?
If you don't back up, you back.
What you looking at my legs for?
Random stranger. I need to get out of
Random.
Waco.
You got to get out of Waco.
Because-
Although we've been watching the Lakeside, your BFFs, Chip and JoJo. They're
Yes.
redoing.
Yes, have you been
Did you
watching
watch
it?
it? Yes. Yeah.
Todd is
Of course
all
we are.
caught up. I haven't watched it, but
So
we
do you know
gotta
where that
double-
house is?
Yeah, we can go over there.
You ought to do it live. We
You
ought to do it live from the front yard. You ought to set up there for Buffer's Coffee from the house.
think?
I mean,
Buffer's
unless it's
Coffee from the
sold,
lake house?
then it's kind of private property. But if it's still up for sale, it's empty. So just we could get Todd and Chip are BFFs now as well.
That's right, because
So
they met in that HEB line.
yes. So let's Chip being on the show with you and me would be hilarious.
Because
I'd be every HR violation known to man.
we'll share each other's audience. I'll share you with mine. You share mine with yours.
That's so that I want to know what that house is going for though. So make sure you do the research.
And maybe we'll go buy. I got Todd for Father's Day a tandem kayak.
Now, so it's on the lake. Where you have to drive though, right? To where you would launch from? Is that the deal? You can't do it from your house, really, right?
But here there's you can do it from the public parks, and there's a place right less than 5 minutes from my house is the ramp to the Lake Waco.
Okay.
So
let's do it. Lake Waco, that's the name of that lake.
What do you want?
We can't be more creative. Something for somebody else. The town's called Waco. We can't come up with a different name for the lake.
And my kids went to Waco High School.
Well, that I can appreciate, right? Because that's the town name.
Nobody has proven themselves worthy.
I just would want to kind of take a peek at all of the renovations right from the outside because they've done a number on this house. You're going to enjoy it. They've done a number. And it is, listen, y'all, it's in keeping with what we're talking about today. Everything old has become new again. Wait till you see the way that this house has been redone on the inside. Circa 1950s, 1960s. Wait till you see.
I think Chip and Joe are a great example of the big stay. Because they're 100%. They could be anywhere doing what they're doing.
Yep.
Godforsaken town.
Yep.
And they're like, you know what? I'm staying in Waco. I'm not moving. This is where I want to be.
10 years. The show Fixer Upper has been 10 years. And you're exactly right.
The sad state of real estate here.
Well, they could have moved at this point. I mean, they've got 58 different businesses.
Right.
They could certainly
Oh,
have
here,
taken up
if you want to come
elsewhere.
and we can go. They have their hotel, we'll
Yeah,
eat at the restaurant, we'll shop at the store,
we're
we'll
coming.
wear their clothes, and then
She's
we'll,
booking.
you
She's
know,
booking the hotel. We're coming.
and
We're
then we'll go,
coming.
and then we'll go in the kayak and we'll just go buy the house. We're going on the
By the
Hookaloo.
time we get there, I'm pretty sure that house better sell. So I would think it's private
Listen,
property for somebody else.
somebody's going to turn it into an Airbnb. That's what lots of people like to do with the fixer uppers.
Ooh, that's what they did with the Brady Bunch house that they redid
Yes, yes,
into an Airbnb, and
yes.
that was a problem for California. Look, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to these states. They come in, they spend all this money, they convert it to an Airbnb. Taxes are being paid on it. What's California do? No, we don't like this
Right.
random traffic coming in and out. And like, you're
Young
an
as hell.
entertainment state. What is it that what is happening here? You make so much money off of entertainment related taxation. Now all of a sudden you want to be different? Come
They
on.
don't care. They don't.
They don't care.
They don't like people.
So I'm going to ask a practical question. You may not know this number off the top of your head. Retention for Textio, voluntary. I'm not talking about any reduction in force or elimination of positions in for whatever reasons. I'm saying straight up, people said, I don't want to work here anymore. I'm going somewhere else. High number, low number, would you say over the last year?
Low number. In fact, average tenureship is 3.4 years at Textio, which is high.
Which for a tech company it's double.
Right?
Double.
We just had like 2 6-year anniversaries in tech, in the engineering.
We're 1.6, 1.7 years in technology for length of stay.
So right now our average is 3.4, and which is pretty good. I don't know the overall, but now that we are where we are, I think right now here's the other part where you're like dedicated on a project. When you have teams that are like really dedicated on a project, they don't want to leave.
They don't. They want to see it through.
On new innovative solutions, they want to be a part of that change.
I would say one of the things that I think that doesn't get talked about a lot, and maybe this is a future chat for us as well. We are dealing with some candidates who, and I shouldn't just say candidates, some employees who struggle with fear. And so the idea of, and it manifests itself in a couple of different ways. One, connected to the big stay, we do have employees that are choosing to stay because they're afraid to go. It's not that they couldn't. It's not that they wouldn't pick up another role somewhere else. They are afraid. The devil I know is better than the devil that I don't.
That's right.
And so I want to just kind of stay because I know this. And I'm not saying that that's always bad. I'm just saying I think it's worth examining as to how much fear is playing into part of that decision. The other thing is I'm watching some people not stay very long at a role that they take because they're starting to feel uncomfortable. It's pushing them to learn or to be involved with things that they've never been a part of. And they are running. Some of them are running, and it's because they were afraid. They're returning to legitimately returning to the exact company that they left in order to take this job.
A lot of that.
Yes. And we're calling it a boomerang. I appreciate that. But I think, why are they boomeranging in such a short period of time? I think it isn't always because the company I went to sucks. That's true. I'm sure sometimes that's true. But I think sometimes it's fear.
Sometimes it's fear, but I think there's a part of it where that's how they're getting promoted in the organization or getting their raise. They're getting a different title and getting a different role because they couldn't give them more money because of the title that they were having, making a custom made title to use the other half of skills that I know you have.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. But I love what you're saying about fear. It makes me think of Todd and I were ziplining. Todd is afraid of heights. I am not. So it was a whole thing. Yeah. And the guy kept saying, "Are you okay, buddy? Are you okay? Are you okay? You got to go. Okay. What? 3, 2, 1." And then Todd was on his way. And he goes, "I call that the love and shove." And I think with some employees, you have to have the love and shove.
Not all employees, though, because I've had to investigate some of the love and shoves of that as well.
Did you hear that noise that came out of my mouth?
Yes.
I was cracking up.
No.
Haha, is what I meant. I didn't mean to make that sad.
I love that noise, but we should record that actually. That could be like That could be my notification when I get a text message.
You're right. You are absolutely right. I also need to make another announcement. I quit smoking.
Yes.
And I just want everybody to know.
Cigarettes. Let's be
smoking
clear.
cigarettes. It's been 3 months, 13 days.
Isn't that awesome?
It is. And I just want everybody to know I am very proud of myself. That's been really hard. That's why I can make noises like that.
Can we give another? Well, first of all, be careful about making noises like that because some sort of phlegm ball may come up as your lungs are cleaning themselves out. But the other number you should probably offer is how long had you been smoking before that?
Oh God, over 20 years.
Yeah, that's what I think people need to understand. It's not. It was a long time.
It is hard, and every day, like my kids have asked me, they're like, "Do you still want a cigarette?" Every day. There has not been a day during that time period.
My mom says the same thing, and she's been years now that she has quit. My mom says the same thing, that she could light up one today.
Yeah. And so a lot of people know that if you're going through that challenge and you're waiting for that to happen, that part is not going to happen. But I know that my goal is to quit for good, and I'm really excited. I was really trying to get to the 90 days, and now we'll get to the, 4 days. And it says that I'm at a 28% reduced risk of heart disease, and my immunity and lung function is at 74%. So we're getting, so many of the levels have gone back. I'm really proud of myself. I don't mind sharing the humble brag, but that was something else that we had to.
Honestly, you may be inspiring other people. I don't take it as a humble brag. Like, I think they're good stories to hear. That reminds people. It's a big deal.
It's really hard. Like I said, there hasn't been a day that goes by where I'm not like, ooh, you know what? Could go good. I could do that. But
that's the kind of big stay that you shouldn't have.
That's right. That's right.
Right? Change is okay. That's a good thing.
So
move beyond that. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
We are, I just want to make sure that I say this too. So next week I will be away in Chicago, but I will be back in time. So we'll be chatting just as normal. I fly back on Wednesday. If you are going to be at SHRM Annual Conference in Chicago, please make sure that you come find me. All jokes aside, I think it's Monday and Tuesday. My session is 12:30 to 1:30, and then Steve's Monday and Tuesday from 2 to 3. So we give you a half an hour to walk from one building to the other. I am sharing on functional forgiveness. And so I'm taking people through, the business imperative through conflict resolution. It's heavy, but it's really practical. So if you're coming, please make sure, that you bring a tissue. And
are you going to make
it? I will talk and just as the tears are falling. Right? Oh, yeah. So, but it really is very practical, by the way. It's not just it's not just a kumbaya fest. It's the practicality of functional forgiveness. How do we make forgiveness a functional piece of the conflict process? So I'll be doing that. And then Steve is right after me, a half hour again to walk to his session. So I am his opening act, proudly so.
And I had a couple of weeks have a webinar coming up. We're going to talk about using AI.
What couple weeks? It's next week.
It's a couple weeks.
Next week. Isn't it June 25th? Am I making?
Yeah.
Okay. That's Tuesday. A couple of weeks.
So bossy.
Well, I don't want people to miss it. It's next week.
I'll send it. I think the link, you can look on my story.
Yes, it is. And you just did a long post either maybe last night about it. So sign up for it.
Sign up for that. It's next week. I hope I show up on time.
Apparently, because you'll be like,
see what happens? You go out of work for like just a day. I think it was 2 weeks, like a week ago. And that'll be coming up. And I think it's really relevant in utilizing.
Mandy, Jackye will put it in the chat after we hop off. This chat will stay active. And again, for those of you that are watching after the fact, we love that you do that. We'll make sure that link is in there.
Yes, I'll make sure it is in there. Anything else we have to talk about? Anything else? If you're looking for an opportunity.
That's time. I heard the yeah, didn't you hear mine? Mine just went,
Put your resume. Let people know if you're looking in the chat
Yes,
for a new
yes,
opportunity, please.
yes. Give your LinkedIn profile, all that good stuff, and what you're looking for. It's
All
so
right.
good to have you back.
I'm so happy to be back. I've missed you very much.
I missed
Mwah.
you as well. Clink.
Clink, clink.
Bye.
Bye. I forgot. Oh,